Good morning, all. Now I request our Director, Chief Guest, Dr. Sri Balakameshwari ma'am and Dr. Ganesha to occupy the dais, please. It is my pleasure to extend a warm and enthusiastic welcome to all of you on behalf of CSIR-CLRI for the celebration of National Technology Day and World Environment Day. I request you all to raise for the invocation, please.
திலக வாசனை போல் அனைத்துலகும் இன்பமுற எத்திசையும் புகழ் மணக்க இருந்த பெரும் தமிழகே தமிழகே உன் ஸ்ரீநிலமை திறம்பியந்த செயல் மறந்து பார்த்ததுமே பார்த்ததுமே பார்த்ததுமே.
Thank you. Today, we will begin the event with the famous and very valuable words from Mahatma Gandhi that earth provides enough to satisfy every man's needs, but not every man's greed. Today, we come together to acknowledge the importance of protecting our planet and promoting sustainable living. As we gather today, we are reminded of the urgent need to address the environmental challenges that we face in the world. I take this opportunity to invite our director to welcome our chief guest today in a traditional way with Angavastram. Sir, please. Thank you, sir. Now I request our director to welcome the gathering, please.
A very good morning to all of who are here. In the first place, I take this opportunity to thank Dr. Vaidya for his immediate acceptance to be here with us on this occasion. As has always been usual of CLRI, I actually gave him a very long window of any time from today to the 10th of June. But he was kind enough to accept this date and said, let's do it now itself rather than delaying it further. Thank you very much for your presence, sir. Friends, we are clubbing two activities here today. Unfortunately, we had planned the National Technology Day, but we couldn't do it for the fact that several other events came in around that event, and we had to postpone it. And therefore, we thought, let's, as far as CLRI is concerned, whether it is Technology Day or Environment Day, CLRI, it's all the same because any technology in leather cannot be without the environment protection. So let's rather do it together. I'm also thankful to Dr. Sugma Degota for his presence here. It's indeed a pleasure to have two former CSIR directors in the same platform. In fact, I must say that yesterday we were even having a situation where we had three directors in the same platform, which was very good for this institute. Most importantly, as far as we are concerned, the last year has gone extremely well in terms of technologies that were predominantly looked at from the sustainability point of view. The number of technology transfers that happened with the futuristic point of view of the industry that we serve has been very good. And I must say that the industry has been coming very proactively to work with the institute. And more than all that, we are now seeing a kind of scenario wherein industry and the institute seems to have been in sync of what they need and what we can offer. At least there have been two technologies which were offered within 2 to 3 months of an interest that was came in from the industry side. And I suppose that is something which we should all be very much looking forward to. So today, one of those activities that we will have is to appreciate all those scientists who have been involved with technology transfer related programs. Incidentally, three aspects come out on that transfer part. One is the aspect of Atmanirbharta, wherein we have been able to give technologies that is related to the government of India's strategic sectors. Second thing is something which we have been wanting for a very long time, what we call as a sustainable fashion. We have been able to work with the industry, some of the best leaders in the industry to do that. And third is a factor wherein our continued working with the industry in terms of their need to meet the environmental and other regulations. So in that sense, I think we are doing reasonably well, and I hope the institute would continue to work in these dimensions in the future as well. Uh, in the same tone, I must also add that one good thing that is happening for the institute is that entire system seems to be in sync towards one single goal, that is meeting the needs of one particular industry, the leather and footwear. So whether it be the chemistry, biology, engineering, or even the administrative and other processes, we seem to have now realized that we need to deliver to the industry for our own survival. And that's another big thing that's happening. So incidentally, when we talk about this year's theme of environmental pollution, Environmental Day celebrations, which is predominantly on the plastic pollution, we also have to look at the way forward for this institute as well, because in this particular state, we also see a growth of the sports footwear or the athletic footwear growing tremendously, with almost all the world OEMs being given land to set up factories in the state, which would mean that we would see a large quantity of dry waste, predominantly the polyurethanes, the PVCs, and the EVAs coming in through these factories. And that, I suppose, would be the next gen research and activities that this institute will have to look at. While they do create large employment, I am sure over a period of time, the institute will have to really work with them to make sure that they also have the technologies to take care of the waste and those kind of things. So with this background, I'm thankful to Dr. Vaidya to have chosen a topic which is very close to what this institute wants to do. And I'm very sure that all my colleagues, my student friends would all benefit from this lecture. Once again, thank him for his presence here. It's not easy to come from Nagpur to Chennai that very easily. You travel more time than giving the lecture time. So with that in the background, let me say that it's been really a pleasure hosting him here. Of course, in a new order as the Vice-Chancellor of the university there. So things have changed, but the friendship of the CSIR labs continue. And I'm once again hoping that we will all benefit from this lecture. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Climate change, pollution, deforestation, and wildlife conservation are just a few of the pressing issues that requires our collective action. But today is not just about raising awareness, it's about inspiring change. It's about recognizing the small action that we take every day to make a big difference. Now, I request Dr. Ganesh, Senior Principal Scientist and Head KPMU, to brief the event.
A very good morning to everyone. So I won't take much time. I will finish my time within 5 minutes, whatever is given. So it is an honor to stand before you today to celebrate a day that marks the spirit of innovation, progress, and technological excellence. That is India's National Technology Day and World Environmental Celebrations. So next National Technology Day is celebrated in India every year on May 11th to mark the country's significant achievements in science and technology. The day commemorates the successful nuclear test conducted at Pokhran in 1998, a historic milestone that marked India's emergence as a nuclear power and showcased the nation's scientific excellence, technological expertise, and strategic self-reliance. These tests, conducted under the operation code named Operation Sakti, involved the detonation of 5 nuclear devices and were led by some of the India's most brilliant scientists and defense experts. The success of these tests sent a powerful message to the world about India's advanced capabilities in nuclear science and engineering, despite decades of technological restrictions and limited access to the global resources. It was a defining moment that reflected India's commitment to developing indigenous technology for national security while maintaining a responsible stance on nuclear policy. Beyond defense, the event became a symbol of India's broader scientific ambition and innovation, inspiring the nation to invest further in areas like space research, information technology, renewable energy, and industrial development. National Technology Day thus not only honors this monumental achievement, but also serves as a tribute to the spirit of Indian science and technology that continues to drive progress and shape the future. Declared by the Government of India, May 11th honors not just the historic event, but also contributions of Indian scientists, engineers, and technologists across various fields. The 2025 theme, Yatra, the Yugantar for advancing new technology, research, and acceleration, emphasize the nation's commitment to fostering cutting-edge innovation and accelerating scientific progress. It serves as a reminder of the importance of innovation, research, and technological advancement in shaping a self-reliant and progressive nation. From space exploration to digital growth, and from healthcare to leather technology, India continues to make impactful strides. Thus, National Technology Day celebrates in India spirit of innovation and scientific excellence. It honors past achievements while inspiring future generations to drive progress and build a stronger, self-reliant nation through technology. Coming to the World Environmental Day, it is celebrated every year on June 5th as a global platform for raising awareness and promoting action to protect our environment. Established by the United Nations in 1972, it encourages individuals, communities, and governments to engage in activities that contribute to the environmental sustainability. Each year focuses on a specific theme, such as climate change, biodiversity, or plastic pollution, aiming to highlight urgent environmental challenges and inspire solutions. World Environment Day serves as a reminder that preserving the planet is a shared responsibility, and even small actions like reducing waste, planting trees, or conserving water can make a significant difference in building a healthier and more sustainable future. Each year, World Environmental Day has a theme and is hosted by different country, and this year it is South Korea. So the theme is Beat Plastic Pollution, emphasizing the urgent need to address a pervasive issue of plastic waste. Plastic pollution has infiltrated every corner of our planet, affecting ecosystems, wildlife, and human health. So this year campaigns encourages individuals, communities, and governments to take collective action by refusing single-use plastics, adopting sustainable alternatives, and supporting policies aimed at reducing plastic production and consumption. So by uniting effort globally, World Environmental Day 2025 aims to drive meaningful change towards a cleaner, healthier planet. Let us all use this opportunity to reflect on our environment impact and commit to tangible steps, no matter how small, that contribute to a plastic-free world. Together, through awareness, innovation, and responsible choices, we can protect our planet for current and future generations. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Now, I request Dr. Nityananda Vasagam, Senior Principal Scientist, KPMU, to give brief introduction about our chief guest.
Very good morning to you all. It gives me great pleasure to introduce today's chief guest, Dr. Atul Narayan Vaidya, Vice-Chancellor, Laxminarayan Innovation Technological University, LATU, Nagpur. Dr. Atul Vaidya, doctorate in chemical engineering, is at present Vice Chancellor at LATU Nagpur. Prior to this, he was director of the CSIR National Environmental Engineering Research Institute, CSIR-NERI, and chief scientist and head of Chemical and Hazardous Waste Management Division, CSIR-NERI. He has over 34 years of research experience in environmental science and engineering, especially in waste management, biotechnology, and environmental systems designing and planning. Dr. Vaidya has extensively worked on various aspects of environmental protection and restoration pertaining resource, process, and waste management that would lead to sound environmental practices and sustainability. He is also actively working for Stockholm Convention on POPs, IPCC on climate change, and Minamata Convention mercury management. He has implemented effective technological options for environmentally sound management of hazardous waste at various industries in the country. Dr. Vaidya has facilitated decision making across the country through basic and translational and interdisciplinary research on various environmental issues. His contributions in national and international environmental policies have been noteworthy. He has published many research papers in national and international journals and has guided many research students. We are honored this morning by the presence of the respected Dr. Atul Narayan Vaidya, Vice Chancellor, LATU, Nagpur. May I now invite Dr. Atul Vaidya to deliver his National Technology Day and Environmental Day lecture on beating plastic pollution, environmental and technological perspective. Thank you.
Thank you very much for nice introduction. Dignitaries, all the dignitaries are off the dais now. So, Dr. Sriram, Director CLRI, all the scientists and administrative staff, many of them I know personally from CLRI. Many scientists, I also know them personally. And Dr. Devota, who had been my mentor director, and whatever international contributions you have just listened to in my biodata, mostly it was initiated and pushed by him so that I could get there. So I am also thankful to him for all those things. It's a great pleasure to have him here. CLRI, when Sriram and Bala, they asked me to be chief guest here for this occasion. So I could not say no immediately, because first thing, as Sriram said, they had given me a big wide window from June 1st to June 10th. So no one can pretend to be busy for that kind of period. So I immediately said, yes, I have convenient dates you are given. And then fortunately through Bangalore, flight connection is also good. So, and CLRI and NERI, they're connected since long. Right now, there was a reference to 1972 conference, and after that, World Environment Day was getting celebrated. That was the sole reason why NERI is having its own name right now. NERI, earlier it was CIFERI. And after that, 1972-74, then Prime Minister Mrs. Indira Gandhi changed the name of CIFERI to NERI to increase the gamut of the work to environment, not to only public health. And if you see the photograph that time, you will find Dr. Naidumma, who was DG that time, along with Mrs. Indira Gandhi in NERI for that renaming of the NERI ceremony. Naidumma, I think he was director CLRI. So since then, NERI and CLRI are connected. CLRI and NERI have done a lot of work together for tanneries when Dr. Mashalkar was our DG and Dr. Ramaswamy was director here. After that, for a while, our director, Dr. Vate, was acting director or additional charge director here in CLRI, and Shriram is into our RC, and it's vice versa. So CLRI and NERI are well connected. So there is no question of saying no to this kind of invitation, and which forced me to be here to put forward my thoughts on National Technology Day as well as Environment Day. So I am really thankful to CLRI management to having given this opportunity to me. I will get back to, I will not take much time. Of course, I know what kind of programs and how we are compelled to sit in the audience for a long time. So I'll just quickly go through the presentation which I selected as beating plastic pollution, environmental and technological perspective. Yeah, that is better. So I tried to cover both the things in very short. National Technology Day as well as World Environment Day. And this is a layout of presentation. Quickly, I'll be talking about National Technology Day, its expectations and my views. World Environment Day, plastic as a material, plastic as pollutant, environmental issues, regulations, remedies, and issues, and way forward. I deliberately putting back, I say way forward, I don't know whether it is really way forward or not, because we are getting into one problem into another by going way forward. So I'm really confused whether we are going in forward or backward direction. That's why I put this layout kind of this, just to depict my confusion over that. Coming to National Technology Day first, as it has been already narrated by Ganesh. May 11th every year to celebrate Pokhran testing on May 11th, 1998. Basically, the message was, as I think it's a celebration to celebrate, or it's a to commemorate our nuclear explosion, but it is for the technology, self-reliant technologies for India. So it should be a good engineering and technology that should be promoted through such days. And unfortunately, after 1998, technology word has changed its meaning terribly. It has now, you have connotation of only software, connotation of only IT. So real technology, as I think it should be a good science and engineering put together is a technology, and that too for manufacturing purpose, for commercial purpose. That is the whole meaning of technology. If you go to the establishments of IITs, where Indian Institute of Technology, the technology meaning is this, not the software. That time was no software. Unfortunately, we are considering software as a technology. It caters to only service industry, or it is a tool. Basically, digitalization and software, they are the tools. But real technology is manufacturing technology, something which is produced commercially with good science and engineering is a technology consistently. And that is required for the Atmanirbhar or self-reliant Bharat, not software, because too much of service industry is not going to be very helpful in long run. This is my message to all students. You may be mesmerized by the so-called salary packages in IT industry and so many things around in IT, and you don't have to go to field, but that is not the real way of science and engineering. You have to go to field. You have to come out with really good scientific and engineering based technologies, not only software based technologies. So we have to redefine our concepts about technology. That's what I always say, and I'm of the firm opinion that our technology must address good science and engineering and not only software. So this is the message I wanted to give. As far as I think, whatever little knowledge I have gained throughout this experience, I wanted to say that we have to have good science and engineering together. Ask questions to technology. Don't assume any technology. When technology assessment itself is a great job, and you need experienced people for that. So any technology, all CSR laboratories are actually developing a lot of technologies. Unfortunately, we don't ask the serious questions to the technologists. We assume that everything is done, and many times we fail in the field. So make it a habit to ask questions to a technology provider or developer. Maybe he may be upset over that, but ask the basic questions so that technology doesn't fail in the field, or at least you are aware of what are the probable avenues for the failure. And that is what we have to learn in celebrating such days. It's a national day, it's not an international day. Now, coming back to the next celebration is World Environment Day, which is actually tomorrow, June 5 every year. That is worldwide, obviously, as already narrated. And it is basically to create environmental awareness. It started with water, basically, then water, solid waste, plastic, everything, all aspects of environment, one by one year. It's is to generate awareness amongst the people throughout the world about the environmental issues and how to tackle those environmental issues. So I will not list, there are many environmental issues which are dealt throughout the years. This year it is beating plastic pollution, and host is Republic of every year there is some host. India was in 2016 when say no to plastic was the theme. And of late, most of the stress is being given on the plastics. So beating plastic pollution, of course, it's a good slogan, and it's very good. Theoretically, everything is very good, but it's very difficult to practice because we are into an era where plastics cannot be replaced. We'll come to that point shortly. Now, beating plastic pollution, why it is important? It is given in the website also. It is a we have facing a triple planetary crisis. The crisis of climate change. Now, climate change, there can be a lot of morning. Yesterday, I was discussing with Sriram also. Climate change is there. It is actually we feel there is a climate change. Debate can only be on the extent whether it is 1.5 degrees or 2 degrees or 2.5 degrees, or some people claim 6 degrees like that. But you cannot deny that there is no climate change. So climate change is a foregone conclusion, and we have to face it. Whether 1.5 degree, 2 degree is a different issue. That can be debated with on the basis of models and on the basis of data which you have. And of course, the crisis of nature, land, and biodiversity loss, they are all correlated to each other. And the crisis of pollution and waste, this is the biggest problem which we are going to face simply because our increasing population throughout the world and our habits and of course our lifestyle. So increasing pollution and increasing waste is no wonder it is increasing because your population is increasing. We are least bothered about environment and our lifestyle has changed a lot. So it's an inevitable thing. So we have to come over this to sustain ourselves, our lives, and we must have good lives. Not only good wealth, but we must have good lives also. It is said, and I personally don't believe data is there. It's an indicative data, so there can be also some changes from time to time. You have to look at the order of magnitude. Don't get into exactly whether it is 11 million tons or 12. Some people may say 13, may 8. That is a way of debate as spending time. Basically, you have to realize that it's a big amount, a huge amount. 11 million tons of plastic waste leak into aquatic ecosystems each year. Now, this is an alarming thing. While microplastics accumulate in soil and from sewage and landfills due to use of plastics in agricultural products anywhere. Plastic is being used every nook and corner of the country, and somewhere it accumulates. And environmental costs projected at US dollars and all that. Don't worry about those figures. It's a huge amount which all countries have to sustain. What is the major issue? Why plastic is so bad? Plastic leaching chemicals. That is the single most thing which we neglect. We don't initially when plastic was projected as a villain. It was clogging up the drains, it was littering on the ground. But the subtle problems which are coming to the environment are because of plastic leaching chemicals. There are a lot of chemicals are being used in plastic manufacture apart from the basic polymer. And most of these are kind of POPs or persistent or non-biodegradable kind of or toxic chemicals which are used. They keep on leaching in aquatic environment slowly, and finally it comes back through food chain to you. So it is risky for wild and pet animals, obviously. Transfer of chemicals in wildlife and food chain. Problems of cost escalation obviously when plastic is there, your all costs for environmental management, including municipal solid waste, that escalates. Clogging of the drains, rivulets, water bodies, health concerns for humans and animals. And microplastics, that is a new, of course, not new, almost 10, 15 years research is going on. A lot of microplastics is there in marine and aquatic bodies. Disturbs the ecosystem services and biodiversity risk. Is a general class of problems which are associated directly or indirectly with the plastic. And therefore, plastic pollution has, if not, it has to be handled. You cannot avoid that. Now, if you go through this is old data for me, we collected at NERI some long back. Production, see, that time it was around 10 to 15 million tons per year. And then finally, the alarming figures are these. What is lost to the environment is almost 6,000 tons per day. Now, again, 6,000 can be 7,000, 5,000. Don't bother for that. This is only for material balance. Huge amount of plastic is lost into environment. And then whatever you collect, you recycle. It is a big employment sector, of course, organized, unorganized, whatever you call. But then 1.6 million employees are there actually working for this recycle. But recycling processes are not very sound or not very scientific, and it generates a lot of waste, which is actually worse than the original plastic. The waste which are generated out of recycling processes is worse than the original plastic. The problems caused by the original plastics. So this is the incorrect. This is the problem of the plastic. Now, what happens to that last 6,000 tons per day? For example, it can be more or less also. It predominantly it goes to municipal solid waste, or it goes to land, or it goes to water channels, or it finally goes to seas. Municipal solid waste, it causes a lot of segregation costs. Efficiencies are down for any treatment procedures for municipal solid waste. Land, it goes to animal, it goes to soil, it affects the fertility of soil, it affects the porosity of soil. Agricultural people, they face a lot of problems because of this plastic accumulation. Water channels, everybody knows leaching is the major issue, and blocking the physical blocking of the channel is another issue. And sea is the final sink for marine life. It is disturbed, microplastic accumulates, pollution, everything is there. Finally, it occurs in the sea. And net result is land pollution, water pollution, air pollution, animals, human health, biodiversity, POPs get accumulated. This is the net result of just that lost amount of plastic which is into the environment. Now, what should be the approach? As is general for any pollution, this should be the approach. There has to be some regulation because we are in the we follow some law. There is a law of land. There has to be some regulation. There has to be awareness. There has to be some mechanism to implement those laws. There has to be some technology which has to support. The entire purpose of the regulation has to be supported by good technology, and there has to be strict monitoring. In case of plastic, we'll see what happens in India. First time we realized the regulation is required for plastic is in 2011. So first set of rules, it's a very simple rules, just advocate segregation of plastic. It was there in 2011, and then later, I'll next slide, I will present that. Awareness is very partial. Our problem is that 2016, when India was host, and our problem was say no to plastic or whatever it is. All of a sudden, overnight plastic become villain. Overnight, throughout the media. Prior to that, 6 months before, nobody was talking about plastic. No media was talking about the plastic. No scientist was talking about the plastic. World Environment Day, India host and say no to plastic. Suddenly, overnight, lot of floods of all information, and then overnight plastic become villain. It should not be. So that kind of awareness is not awareness. It's just to satisfy certain things which may be obligatory, which you derive some pleasure or some honor out of that. So that kind of awareness will not help in beating any pollution. Forget about plastic. So our awareness is like that. It's very partial. We realize, but we don't act. Mechanisms, I said, not good. In brackets, there is no mechanism. To collect, to segregate, there is no mechanism. On presentation, I have to say not good. I will, in brackets, say there is practically no mechanism. Then technology, you need lot of, I can discuss in length what are the problems with technology of plastic recycle, plastic things. But basically, you need integrated technology, not a single technology. Any waste management, not a single technology can be a solution. It has to be a site specific, it has to be a target specific, and you need integration of the technologies. And that is not there. Some vendor comes, he proposes one technology, everybody is after him. Suddenly there is some problem, another vendor comes, another lab comes. So there is no planning for that. What is the ideal technology for, say, PET? We don't have any standard set of technologies for PET. We need that. What is the best technology? At least some ranking has to be done. It is not there. That we have to do as a scientific institutions. Monitoring is not much. Whether people throw plastics, whether 50 microns is being used or not, there is no monitoring. At least I have not seen. On paper, you may be getting some data in CPCB and all PCBs, but there is no such direct monitoring. 1 day or 2 days for getting publicity in some newspaper items, but there is no monitoring strict about the plastic pollution. That is the fact, and it is a uphill task. We must develop some criteria for good technology, for good management. Again, I will just give a passing reference. When I say recycle is good, PET recycle, I will tell you the fact that we say 60% is recycle, 70% is recycle. All data is coming in papers and data in government institutions or government websites. And simultaneously, as an area, I know there is a lot of consent conditions required for the increase of the raw polymer or raw plastic or polymer capacity increase. So you are increasing production of plastic on one hand to support industry. We are giving environmental clearances. I am also part of that. And on one hand, you say plastic is villain. On one hand, you say plastic is bad and you have to recycle 60%. So unless your imports, unless your production statistics goes down, at least stabilizes, you cannot say there is a recycle. But then we keep on giving. So there has to be a good criteria. I'm not saying it's a bad or good, but situation is this. So you need a good criteria which has to be evolved by all scientific and technological community. And rational approach is needed. Everything is not like it's a passing reference again. Recycle, how many of us are really aware that recycle is not unlimited? Any plastic can be recycled at the most for 3 to 4 cycles. After that, you keep on adding. This is a simple, if you go to Kabadi and I have gone to many places, they have simple, very simple, you can say rustic way of identifying whether plastic can be further used or not. They put plastic into water bucket. If it sinks, that is useless plastic. That has to be thrown or disposed. If it floats, something can be done about that. Whether upcycling or downcycling is a different issue. Because as number of recycles goes on increasing, you keep on adding chemicals and density of plastic increases. It's a simple logic. And it starts sinking into the water. In local Mumbai language, they are the dubban plastic. They call it dubban plastic. Dubban is which sinks into the water. So there is a limit. What technologically we have to understand that infinite recycle is impossible. So you will have a problem of end of the life plastic in all categories, whether you segregate or not. You will have end of the life plastic which has to be disposed through some basic technological means, either incineration, pyrolysis, whatever you call it. It cannot be put back into the original use. So that is permanently lost. That is the thing which we must have a rational approach for all the technologies. Now let us compare PWM Plastic Waste Management Rules 2011. It was a very preliminary kind of regulation, practically no compliance. It was just there to say that I am complying to 11, that's all. 2016 rules were much better, very comprehensive rules. And compliance, people at least have started thinking of compliance and people are going ahead with compliance after 2016. 2011, it was just on paper, that's all. And the various amendments, now it is getting day by day very stringent, at least on paper. But again, it is not well supported by mechanisms, not well supported by technologies. And you also need policy support for that. Now, this is what I tried to summarize. Plastic Waste Management Rules 2016. What extra thing it did was it made mandatory segregation of waste at source. How many of us we do that? I don't know. Whether CLRI does, whether NEEDI does, or whether any institution does, we don't. We don't. Simple. But it is a mandatory. Promotion of reuse and recycling of the plastic materials. How many of us are really aware of that? We are not aware in the sense we are aware as a scientist and technologist. There is no mechanism where I don't know where this plastic is to be taken for recycle. There is no mechanism. There is no policy for that. Ban on plastic bags below 50 microns. It is grossly violated everywhere in the market because there is no monitoring and there is no penalty. Let's see. how long you can evade yourself from the realities. Sitting in a hall and discussing good technical things, papers and publications, but somewhere you have to face the reality, and reality is this, for which you have to move in the market. And you can see 50 micron is nobody is following. Nobody knows what is 50 micron. Whatever is available cheaply, that is purchased, and that is used. We also use that. EPR policy, we are not aware. I have not seen anybody, at least in Nagpur, coming to extended product responsibility, not even for electronic waste, forget about plastic. Who takes it? There are some recognized vendors by the CPCB or the pollution control boards. They take, we don't know what is being done with that, whether really that producer takes it and reuses it, I don't know. So that's why I said key monitoring is must. There has to be rational approach. Everything is there. Laws are very good. I would say this regulation is very good. Even if you implement it for 60 to 70%, many problems will be resolved. But there is a problem. 2018 amendment, EPR to include more stakeholders with more accountability. It was made more stringent, and strengthening of urban local bodies for role in enforcement. So they were given more authorities to penalize, to act. Whether they act or not is a different issue, but they are now empowered by the regulation. 21 amendment calls for phased bans on single-use plastic. The complete ban was not possible, so they are now going for phased bans, promoting alternatives like biodegradable and compostable plastics. This is another story where rational approach and good technology is required. Biodegradable plastic, Dr. Devota was there. I was also there when I was scientist there. We worked on polylactic acid. It's very costly affair. And other biodegradable plastics are really not really a biodegradable plastic. It's a composite of cellulose or composite of something or this. Who decides what is the criteria for biodegradability? It can be 1 month composting. Who decides what is the how to nothing? There is no standard procedure for this. We just put something together and say it's a biodegradable. That's all. So that has to we have to develop as a scientist, and I'm just appealing to all young people and scientists here that let us develop certain things which are rational, which can be monitored, and which can really get into the field. So it's my plain appeal as a former CSR scientist. Forget about I was director of VC now. Then 2021 amendment. Anyway, we talked about that. 24 amendment is definition of producer, including both importers, brand owners, everything is included. Mandatory EPR compliance for producers to manage the life cycle of their products. Now, this is a very, very big thing. If it really happens, we are happy. It doesn't happen. Paper reports, sustainability reports are there. All industries will present sustainability reports. I'm sorry, I always say some blunt things in my presentations, but that is required because somebody has to face the reality. So this is the problem we are facing. Now you see the rules are applicable to practically everybody, including all institutions. Every person, body of person, government or non-government organization, educational institutions, sport complex, clubs. You read this right from individuals to everything. All establishments, all institutions are supposed to follow this. So there is no exemption practically. I cannot say I am government, so I will not do. There is no exemption to all these rules. You go through this. It is written. Anybody can follow that. Practically, rules are very comprehensive. They don't spare anybody from following these rules, but we don't follow. There are certain exemptions given for medicines, obviously, for obvious reasons. Compostable bags for nursery and solid waste, horticulture, agriculture. This is an inevitable thing because solid waste has to be transported in plastic. So it has been exempted. CPCB certification used to be mentioned, SEZ export oriented, plastic cover or wrap material as an integral part of manufacturing. Now, there are many leeways out of this. A good lawyer or a good technology reader can read between the lines and break all these rules. So food grade virgin plastic bags. So there are so many exemptions. Of course, there are good exemptions are required. And then I will not go through this plastic waste which can be there. All it elaborates what is to be done, who is responsible, and how it is to be done. Everything is given in the rule. Science technology support, science policy support, science execution support. But everything is its rules are very good. You go through that, and it's a really a good scientist should go through regulation also. It's not only technical part, but there are many things which are covered under this. Now, what are the challenges? Why it happens? You see, what is the why plastic has come? Plastic is our own invention, so it cannot be villain. I have produced plastic; it cannot be villain. I have produced it for some different purpose. It is a low weight, high strength material. Everybody knows that. It's waterproof. Machinability and established engineering is there. Durability is there. Microbial resistance. Now, this is again something which, off the record, I say, I never understood why you want to make plastic biodegradable, because non-biodegradability is the sole forte of the plastic, and you want to make it biodegradable. Why we use plastic? Because it is non-degradable, durable, it prevents contamination and everything. But we are into creating buzzwords anyway. So microbial resistance, it is not easily degradable. That is the basic property for which it has been produced. It is an excellent packaging material for food, grains, sensitive, degradable materials, food security, linkage, everything. Mind well, our food security is because of plastic. Most of the things, storage, go down. When I was student or when I was very young, we used to eat a lot of grains are wasted because of some kind of contamination. Now it is not happening, because all our gunny bags are actually lined by the plastic, and it stops moisture getting into the food or grains, and it has really helped the security of the food security of the country. So plastic is not villain. We make it somebody hero or villain. We make it. Human beings are real villains. So another thing is that packaging has no substitute. I was surprised that last year we had some discussion with paper manufacturing associations. I was also not knowing that they said managing cellulose and lignin waste is something which is very traditional. They are facing management of plastic. A single integrated paper plant produces 250 tons of packaging plastic per day as a waste. They said if you can do something about this, we are more than happy. Forget about lignin and everything, will manage, which is a traditional waste. We don't know how to manage plastic pollution. Now, this is the condition, and we are no exceptions. Everywhere plastic is used. So, is there any ideal substitute for plastic? I don't think we have. Instead of putting or developing biodegradable plastic, all our focus should be to develop ideal substitute for this, which will not cause environmental problems. So anyway, we just keep on rolling around here. So these are the flaws. Anyway, I am also part of that. I am not saying that I am very clean and I am very excellent scientist. I was also doing that, but at the end of the day, with experience, you realize that these are the things which you have to really work on, and these are the forums where I can express myself. So awareness, mechanism, infrastructure, technical issues, and disposal of the end of the life of plastic. It has to be pyrolysis or it has to be incineration. There is no other way. You can't bury plastic. So we have to face these problems. And there are a lot of technology and policy challenges which I have narrated. This presentation I will leave it with anybody can use that. There is no secret about this. Then secondly, quantity of the plastic. That is a major challenge. I said 250 tons per day for a paper mill. Nothing to do with plastic production, but only for packaging purpose. Now this 250 tons and volume is huge. So quantity and volume to deal with how to transport plastic. That's why you see plastic lying here and there. It's very difficult to collect at one place. You need a lot of effort and a lot of cost for that. And transportation quality. These are even if I have a good technology to process plastic, who will bring plastic to one place for processing? That is to be taken. So I just tried to narrate all the technological challenges in one slide about plastic processing. One issue is recycle. So recycle, you must have good segregation. I told that there is limited number of recycles. So end of the life plastic will come. There are restrictions, and economy is a mostly unorganized sector. And economy is not many times permitting, but you have to really sustain that economical loss, or the cost of the recycling has to be sustained by people through tax or through the cost of the plastic itself. So reuse again, and recycle means what? Making sutli out of, or rope out of plastic is not converting plastic. Ultimately, it will come somewhere as a waste. It should be mostly upcycling. And there are good technologies within CSR, at least they are at least in infant stage, but depolymerization, one thing, so that you get back to monomer stage. So that such technologies, of course, they are a long way to get into the technology mode, but processes are being developed. Pyrolysis is segregation is a problem. Fuel norms. Getting oil from pyrolysis is simple thing which anybody, any scientist following some basic principles can get oil from the pyrolysis. But whether that oil is marketable, it has that properties, that oil has to be refined and additional costs are required. So that is another issue. Pyrolysis produces a lot of residues. Nobody addresses that. Residue free pyrolysis is very rare. People claim some catalyst which will not produce any residues, but it's very difficult. Emissions of pyrolysis are not taken care. It's a informal sector. If you really take care of environmental control of emissions from the pyrolysis, process cost will be increasing tremendously. Same thing for incineration, same thing for pyrolysis. And I have given same thing for incineration. All the issues, segregation, emissions, and CO, whatever carbon monoxide or other toxic gases are produced, you have to treat that. So all those things are, these are basically technical challenges. Each and every challenge can be taken up by scientists and technological labs. One issue is also enough, not all. We cannot have all at one issue taken to the end. That is what is required. Finally, whether it is technology, whether it's environment, you come back to the sustainability. That is the crux of the everything. Therefore, in coming years, probably there won't be any difference between the laboratory mandates. If you talk of sustainability, everything has to be sustainable. So you have to look for the resource. You have to look for the process to utilize that resource. You have to look for the utilization of the product. You have to look for the waste, and whether it is naturally recycled. In case of water, some portion is naturally recycled, or you have to recycle it back to the resources. If this cycle is not complete, at the end of the day, it's not really sustainable, but you can prolong the death. That is sure. If with your research, we don't expect that every earth will continue for millions and billions of years together with human being on it, but you can prolong the death. So that is the idea. And finally, if we are developing a technology for waste, now this is very important for any CSR laboratory or even for NEERI. You are processing waste, you are not processing a raw material. Raw material, you have control over quality and concentrations and whatever you can reject raw material. You cannot say waste is not good or waste is bad. Waste is waste, you have to accept whatever it is. Whether it is 100 BOD wastewater, whether it is 150, whether sometimes it is 400, you have to accept it. So you don't have control over the input characteristics, and your processing has to be perfect. And if you are getting a product out of waste, it must have a market norm. You cannot sell anything and everything which is out of waste. It must, who will purchase it otherwise? And while doing so, there is a compliance requirement, regulations. It has to be treated waste after product or after getting something out of that. If you get a good product and it is not a treated waste, nobody is going to listen to you. And processing should not lead to secondary emissions or secondary waste. Like pyrolysis, a lot of huge residues are actually accumulated. They are dangerous, more worse than the plastic. So minimum residues, minimum emissions, manageable and treatable emissions. That is the most important requirement for the waste treatment technologies. It should be practical, economic, and consistent. So it should be a very ideal matrix of the technology needs. And there has to be criteria. You may not have 100% thing everywhere. What I am saying is the criteria is to be developed on the basis of this. And that criteria has to be uniform for the specific technology. And that is the task which we have to take up. And circular economy, sustainability, these are the things which we normally don't look into. What is to be looked into for additionality? I just go, technology, acha, good. So it converts this. I don't look at secondary waste, carbon footprint, fossil fuel use, resource accounting, economy, market. If I want to be working on sustainability, I have to look for all these things. Otherwise, forget. It's a good, everything is goody goody. We can publish patent, everything is there. But then if we are addressing sustainability, frankly, we have to look for all these things. And finally, industrial R&D and innovation. It's a very difficult thing. So we should not target. It's a balancing triangle. Normally, it is given everywhere. You have to create a wealth. It cannot be charity. It should be for societal development and environmental sustainability. So everything is, so what industrial R&D and innovation is required is for this, providing affordable product which is environmentally sustainable. Now it's very difficult, I understand. It's very easy to preach here and very easy to say, but at least we should work in that direction. Pick up one thing and then try to get other things together. So what is the way forward? This is the last slide. We have to change our mindset. If plastic is to be dealt with, we have to manage plastic, and ban is not the solution. We cannot ban, simply forget. Saying no to plastic is no way out of that. It cannot be banned, it has to be managed. You have to manage it. So our mindset has to be like that. Awareness, we should be aware of the plastic problems, our responsibilities, authorities, everything, and it has to be taken to the last element of the society, not to the elite class only. Regulation, it is in place, I said. Implementation, penalties, everything, I put question mark. I don't want to elaborate that. I have already said something in my presentation. Execution is no good. There is no mechanism for EPR, collection, segregation. You have to establish these things. If you want to beat the plastic pollution, these are the things. Monitoring is very poor. There is no criteria. It's not really good. And technology, I have elaborated shortly in my presentations. Many passing references I have given. So you have to understand the limitation of technology. No technology can be perfect technology that I will deal with everything with single technology. No. You must know what is the limitation of our technology. Then end of the life plastic problem has to be addressed. Upcycling has to be addressed. And whether you are saving resource or not. You are continuously depleting resources. You are increasing the plastic production and managing plastic. It has no meaning. It's a vicious circle. So somewhere it has to be stabilized. So that is what I meant by putting resources tag there. So we need integrated policy, execution, and improvements. So friends, that's all I wanted to say about plastic pollution, how to beat it. It's a difficult task, uphill task, but then we must start something of our own. So I hope I was clear enough in my talk, clear enough in my thoughts. Thank you very much for patient listening. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir, for sharing good technological solution and challenges in plastic pollution. And as sir rightly pointed out, say no plastics is not a solution. Managing the plastics is a tricky thing. So I take this opportunity to invite our director to present a memento to our chief guest as a token of love. So please. Thank you, sir. Now I request Dr. B. Ravikumar to take over the session for Certificate of Appreciation for Successful Technology Transfer Distribution. Thank you.
Morning to all. I kindly request our chief guest to distribute the certificate for our inventors. Also, I request our director as well as the dignitaries to join for the distribution. The first technology, the technology title is Process Technology for Preparation of Pseudocorium, a leather-like material, has been transferred to two clients. The first client is Magix Vegan Leather Private Limited, Vijayawada, and also for Avinia Leather Private Limited, Gujarat. The team members begin for this technology are Dr. M. Umuda, Mr. J. Christine Ringal, Mrs. S. Vasavi, Dr. S. Sundarapandian, Mr. B. Ramanaya, Dr. B. Madan, and Dr. P. Saravanan. Now I request Dr. B. Madan, Chief Scientist, to collect the certificate. The second technology, titled Making Leather-like Material from Rice Straw, has been transferred to Sai Supreme Holding Company Private Limited, Puducherry. The team members are Dr. U. Venkateshwarlu, Dr. K.J. Sriram, Dr. P. Tanigai Velan, Mr. C.M. Ramesh, Mr. Sachin Sharma. Now I request Mr. C.M. Ramesh, scientist, to collect the certificate. Technology title, a process for the preparation of organic supplement, has been transferred to Sai Chamos Dindikal. The team members are Dr. N.R. Kamani, Mrs. P.V. Suchitra, Dr. M. Aarti, Dr. K.J. Rajaram, Dr. N. Ayadurai, Dr. S. Sundarapandian, C.B. Ramanaya, Dr. T. Shakila Shobana, Dr. B. Madan, and Dr. P. Saravanan. Now I request Dr. T. Shakila Shobana, Principal Scientist, to collect the certificate. For the technology title, waterless chrome tanning process has been transferred to Bharatiya International Limited, Chennai. The team members are Dr. R. Aravindan, Dr. P. Tanigai Velan, Dr. G. C. Jaikumar, Dr. P. Saravanan, and Dr. J. Raghavara. Now I request Dr. R. Aravindan, Senior Principal Scientist, to collect the certificate. Technology title, Process Technology for Preparation of Regenerated Leather, Genocorium from Leather Waste, has been transferred to Tata International Limited, Madhya Pradesh. The team members are Dr. S. Sundarapandian, Mr. J. Christine Ringal, Mrs. M. M. Vimuda, and Dr. P. Saravanan. Now I request Dr. B. Madan to collect the certificate. Technology title, Making Extreme Cold Weather Gloves, has been transferred to Nasir Bali Gloves Private Limited, Chennai. The team members are Mr. K. Karthikeyan, Mr. C. M. Ramesh, Mr. G. Arun Raj, Dr. K. Krishnaraj, Dr. J. Magesh Kumar, Dr. Sujata Mandal, Dr. R. Mohan, Dr. Debasi Samantha, Dr. Sayam Alam, Dr. P. Tanigai Velan, Dr. R. Aravindan, Dr. T. Narayan Swami, Dr. J. Raghavara, Dr. N. Nishad Fatima, and Dr. K. J. Sriram. Now I request Dr. N. Nishad Fatima, Chief Scientist, to collect the certificate. Technology title, Making Cold Resistant Lightweight Leather, has been transferred to NASA Tanning Company, Chennai. The team members are Dr. R. Aravindan, Mr. N. Gopi Krishna, Dr. P. Tanigai Velan, Dr. J. Raghavara, and Dr. K. J. Sriram. Now I request Dr. P. Tanigai Velan, Chief Scientist, to collect the certificate. The technology title, Development of Blended Yarns from Leather Waste along with Natural and Man-Made Fibers, has been transferred to KH Export India Private Limited, Chennai. Team members are Mrs. K. Ambika and Dr. N. Nishad Fatima. Now I request Mrs. K. Ambika, scientist, to collect the certificate. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Let us pledge to reduce our carbon footprint, to recycle and to conserve water. Let us choose sustainable options, support eco-friendly policies, and hold our leaders accountable for environmental justice. Together, we can create a world where development meets sustainability and where our children can inherit a healthier, greener planet. So, let us celebrate World Environment Day with a renewed commitment to protect our planet, and let us work together towards a brighter, more sustainable future for all. Let us strive together to make our Earth more beautiful. Now, I request Dr. Sri Balakameshwari, Chief Scientist and Head, Environmental Engineering Department, to give words of thanks. Ma'am, please.
Thank you, Satya. So it is my present responsibility to propose word of thanks. First of all, I would like to thank Dr. our chief guest, Dr. ATUL Narayan Vaidya, Vice-Chancellor, LITU Nagpur, for accepting our invitation to deliver the National Technology Day and World Environmental Day lecture in spite of his busy schedule. Thank you, sir. So he has given the talk on the beating the plastic pollution, environmental and technological perspectives is the need of the hour. And he has enlightened us with the various technological options and how to address this alarming problem of the plastic pollution, what are the challenges and making the how to manage this plastic waste and with a way forward. Once again, thank you very much, sir, for accepting our request and delivering a beautiful lecture on this. I thank Director CLRI for the encouragement and support for successful organization of this event. Thank you, sir. I thank all my colleagues from the CSIR and participants from the various organizations and research scholars, project staff for your active participation and gaining the knowledge from the eminent speaker in the field of environmental engineering. I would like to thank those who have helped directly or indirectly for organizing this event. Thank you very much for everybody. So now we all will rise for the national anthem.
జన జన మంగళదాయక జయ హే భారత భాగ్య విధాత జయ హే